Is Sniper Elite the best hidden movement game that I played this year? Let's find out as we talk about should you back Sniper Elite. This is Game Brigade. My name is Brian. Thank you for joining me. Today we are to be diving into the newest campaign. This is Operation Kraken. So this is their expansion release for Sniper Elite. I just had a chance to finish playing Sniper Elite. I have some thoughts about where I am with this game, and I thought I would share them with you, as well as talking about the pledge, talking about different pledge levels, some of the things that you might expect in this game. And if hidden movement is for you, this might be a video that you will find interesting. So obviously, what is Sniper Elite? Well, Sniper Elite is a video game. If you want a little quickoid factoid about myself, back in 2001, I had a video game I used to play called Delta Force, and my clan that I made was called Sniper Elite. So I always, when this game was released several years later, I was like, hey, that's my clan you're using there. I use Sniper Elite because that's a weird way of saying Sniper Elite. Why don't you just say Elite Sniper? But anyways, let's keep moving on. So Sniper Elite, this is a hidden movement game set in World War II where you'll be playing as Allied snipers as you try to collect information from the German military. So this game, as I said, is a hidden movement game, and it's probably one of the best hidden movement games I've played in a long time. Let's go ahead and watch their preview trailer here to give a good idea of what we're talking about. So this, I really like some of the gameplay footages that have been shown recently. Actually, let me do this one to make my head a little smaller. What I've really liked lately is how a lot of these companies have come up with really good gameplay footage to show and highlight the gameplay, and it gives it a better chance for me to kind of explain it. So obviously here we're going to see the board. Now the board is broken into 3 different categories for sectors. You'll see the yellow outline here. That is for the yellow officer. You've got a black outline here for the black officer, and a red outline over here for the red officer. Now there are a few sections that are in white, which you can't quite see here. There's no officer assigned to that. Now what's important when you're selecting your mission, you cannot deploy, and you deploy in these yellow arrows on the side of the map. You cannot deploy in a section where you have an objective. So that's one of the things that you can do. And one of the abilities that the German officers have to their advantage is the ability to do what is called gather intel, where they can spend the entire turn of the colored the squad, so let's say the yellow squad, and they can say, are you in the yellow sector? So we're going to use the entire yellow player, yellow squadron's turn to detect if you're in the yellow. So if you're the sniper and if you are in the yellow, you have to say yes. So now they can know that they don't have to waste the same thing doing the black or red intel, and they know that you are relatively somewhere in this zone. So that's one of the reasons why you have that kind of ability and why the map's broken out. So here, now you obviously aren't going to have your miniature on the board. They're just showing this movement and how this movement kind of works here. Now this is, if you kind of see here, we'll get a good shot of the board. These red dots here are the standard spawn locations for the regular infantry, and then the ones with the German cross, the Iron Cross, those are where the officers spawn. These black exclamation points are difficult terrain, so it's a little bit more harder for you to traverse, makes it spend a little bit more movement going in. And of course you have these doorways, that's how you access inside the buildings. One of the cool unique things about this game is the way line of sight works. So if you have a guy that's in a building, because they say that there's potential windows surrounding all these buildings, you're actually able to shoot someone that's adjacent to one of these walls as long as you have vision. So I thought that was kind of a cool element. So of course they're just going to show some of the gameplay here. One of the other things I really liked about the gameplay was the aesthetic. Come on now. Was the aesthetic of the objective cards. The objective cards are shown as basically a deck of cards with suits on them, and you cannot have 2 objectives of the same suit. So that's one interesting way to make sure you're picking right objectives. But you can see here you've got the 8 of spades and the 1 of clubs and stuff like that. 1 of clubs is kind of weird. These are special abilities that you have to throw rocks, to distract. Here are the elite German officer units that they have access to themselves, so that the officer has ways of using special abilities to find a player. Now you can modular the difficulty by allowing how many special uses they have. The default is 2 uses of the special ability, but if you want to make it a little easier for the sniper, you can give them 1 use, etc. Or you can make it 3 uses if you want to make it even harder for the sniper player. But effectively, you know, these just modify the rules for the officer specifically, allowing them to do certain things.
her down by any means necessary. Now, the war escalates. Operation Kraken is a brand new expansion featuring all new maps and missions so critical the outcome of the entire war could hinge on their success. Your first objective, infiltrate a remote enemy outpost hidden in the heart of a Norman village. Local resistance fighters are being held here.
I also really like the way that they've implemented real world locations and what was happening in those areas and potentially what you could find with like stolen art or partisan hostages. I really like the way they've done that.
Intelligence is on site. Armored vehicles now
The armored vehicles add a whole new element of gameplay for the sniper to have to play around.
patrol the perimeter. Don't dally in the open for long.
This might have been my favorite map to play.
Intel on the location of the Axis supercarrier.
That was a perfect example of what I'm saying, where this guy is inside a building, but the sniper is able to see him because, you know, there's a figurative window here. Now, if the building was a little different, let's say there was a door here and this guy was here, the sniper is not able to shoot through the building. You can only shoot adjacent because they're, that figurative window. So that's a great example of what he's doing. This is also showing the drawback, the push your luck drawback. When you shoot a target, this is a little wonky in terms of honestly how the gameplay works. But if we go back here, I know I'm doing a lot of reversing, but this is a little wonky in terms of how the gameplay works. So when you're choosing your target, you don't say where you're shooting from. You're just going to say, I'm going to draw 4 tokens. Your shot is 2 away, right? You have this space and this space here. So that means you need to draw at least 2 of the blue bullseye zones for your hit. If you draw 2 of the red tokens, you reveal your position. And if you draw a combination of 5 of these yellow and red ones, you miss your fire. It's like a misfire. I've never seen it happen in the gameplay. So in this case, he does draw the 2 targets, which does hit the target. The reason I don't love that is like, there's a lot of ways you can game the system. What if there's another target here? Like, I don't know. I didn't love the rules. It's obviously you have to be very honest with your game group. I don't expect people to cheat or whatever, but I don't like that it's kind of a weird, the rules were a little weird, at least playing it for me. Oh, let's keep this going. The Supercarrier map was the one that I think was the most challenging for me as a defender. It's smaller. It's really small in terms of the actual positions that the sniper can be. But because of what they're showing here, the way you can move completely between the levels, it's kind of a mind twist of how you want to defend as the Germans. But I think that's good. It highlights a lot of the way the gameplay is evolving and showing the new ways the game could go.
The board game, Operation Kraken.
So I thought that was a pretty good video. It showed a lot of what I wanted to do to teach you guys how the gameplay works and show the nuances and the things that I thought about it. Let's go down here to the actual pledges and talk about which ones I recommend or what I think about it. So Operation Kraken, obviously you're going to need the base game. So let's talk about what this is. No, that's not the right one I want to click. Where's just the base game? All right, so the board game. If you want to just get the board game, you can see it's £45. Make sure you always do your conversions because pounds, euros, dollars are always different. So make sure you're verifying to see what you're actually paying at that time. So Sniper Elite, the board game, is a game that was highly coveted for a long time. Also has been out of print and hard to find. So this is something, if you are looking for this game, might be a great time to get it, especially because this deluxe upgrade kit has been nearly impossible to find with just absurd prices in the secondary market. Now, it's kind of interesting though, because I don't think it adds a ton that is like necessary to the game. You're getting the unique specialists for the defenders. These are basically making that the miniatures for the officers can match their, not the officers, you can even change the soldiers if you want, just that match their the unique specialist that you picked. You also have the guard dogs. One of the German officers I showed you is the kennel guard or the kennel master. So you actually get dogs, which are kind of cool rather than the cardboard tokens. And you have the testicle miniature. This is obviously Hitler getting shot in the balls. I don't know when you would actually ever use that in gameplay, but you have it if you want that. This is probably the best part for it, are the custom clay shot tokens, which makes the draw bag just a better experience. The cardboard tokens are fine. They work just fine. Now this is just more of that tactile feel. Whenever you're doing, personally, whenever I'm doing a bag drawing experience, I like having those custom clay shot tokens or tokens. So that's really the best part of this pledge. Now, I will say though, this has been hard to find. We're charging a buttload in the secondary market. So if you're looking for something, if you have a little bit of FOMO, I would definitely make sure you get this deluxe upgrade kit, because it's going to be hard to get this later on. The other thing I thought was so funny, when we were playing this game, I was shocked that my copy did not have a sniper screen. And so when you're using the board to, right where you're going, it really wants you to hold it like this and not like on the table and doing it like that, because if you're on the table, your opponent can see what you're doing. So they really want you to do this and almost put it face down when you're done. Thought it was so weird. So I actually had to use from my Mind MGMT, it's somewhere in here, I had to use my Mind MGMT for their screen, because it just was wild to me it didn't have a screen. So now they are offering one. I think that's a win. Now, I think though, because of that, there's something I would recommend if I was these guys in terms of my changes. Maybe they won't, because they're just kind of doing a reprint campaign and whatnot. But the hidden movement boards, you get 2 boards for each map. You get 2 boards, 1 for each map. I don't see why they couldn't just be double-sided, right? Why not make the sniper carrier, the super carrier on one side and the Norman Village on the other side? It saves cardboard, it saves space, and it makes it easier for you to store all these in 1 or 2 boxes, so you're reducing your clutter on your shelving. I think it'd be just a better way, in my opinion. Especially now that you're offering this sniper screen, it makes tons of sense. The normal side of these back-end signs, it's just kind of like a blue or darkish colored nothing. It's just really nothing there. So I think I would personally recommend making these a 2-sided page. Let's go back up to the rewards. If you look at this is the pledge that they're recommending. This is obviously the ultimate pledge. It's going to get you the board game. It's going to get you the Eagle's Nest expansion. The Eagle's Nest expansion, I think, is actually a really good purchase. You get 2 great maps. You also get additional snipers to play with, giving Carl his own ability, June, Rosa, and Major Easy. Each of these guys now have their own building bag, so their bag is a little different in terms of what you're going to be seeing. Plus, they have their own abilities. So if you look at Carl, he has 7 bullseyes, so he's got a little bit more accuracy, 2 sound and 1 misfire, but his penalty is that he cannot shoot at enemies at 2 or closer range. And if he does, he has to add another sound token to his bag. So he really wants to be far away. Major Easy doesn't have his sound, like his alarms, still count as shots, but you can see he's got 3, 3, and 3. So he's going to be revealing himself a lot more, but he's definitely going to be hitting his targets and at least killing his opponents. So I think that's kind of interesting that it has a little bit more elements for gameplay changes. You also get some additional gear, but their gear is really only usable for these maps, so make sure you're aware of that. The diving gear and the climbing gear. More objectives, obviously, for those missions you're seeing. The boards, the solo mode cards. I never played solo, so just be aware of that. When I play Hidden Movement, I don't generally play for the solo experience. Going back here, the other thing that I thought was really cool, the Sniperly Escalation. I think this is going to be adding a ton of value to this campaign. You're getting the Good Boy miniature. There's some rules for that. You're getting a Hunter miniature. Now, this is a special character that I believe the German player plays. It's kind of like an elite hunter for the sniper. It's like a second sniper that's hunting the sniper, making it way more difficult. 7 advantage cards. I believe these are for the German player to give them even more advantages, like roadblock. Before the sniper picks a place, you're going to be putting difficult terrain somewhere, so you're going to make it a little bit more difficult for him. Rapid response. When the sniper completes an objective, right, we get to add an additional noise token to their bag. So it's just making it a little bit harder for the sniper, so I like that modularity. But because of that, we're getting even more stuff. The upgraded loadout equipment here with the Panzerfaust, the modified Tommy gun, just making it a little bit easier for the sniper player. Again, offering that modularity options. You've got the Good Boy, which I talked about with the Good Boy miniature up here, and whatnot. You get some flare tokens. Those are new. Those difficult terrain tokens, because again, you have that card that allows you to add more difficult terrain. You've got that Hunter guy, his deployment zone. So I think this is a really good element of adding a lot of modularity to an already existing catalog of great gameplay. So I think that's a great addition there. Again, obviously Operation Kraken, I talked exclusively about this in one of my videos, but you got the double-sided main board. I really like the Norman Village. I think the Super Carrier is probably a great map. I just didn't have a great experience playing on it, but I don't think my brain was wrapping around how it could work at that time. If you look at the map here, you can see like there's a yellow zone here, yellow zone here, yellow zone here. So when you're using your abilities, you have to be like, are you in the yellow zone, which could be on any of the 3 levels, or do you say, are you on deck 1, deck 2, or deck 3? It's a really interesting way that the game changes the mechanics specifically for this map, because it's kind of an interesting way it works. Everything else here is great. The armored cars are good. You have 2 different abilities, each with each card. So this card, which is this one matches this one. They have different abilities and what they can do. They also are killable by the German, or the sniper player can kill those. So just adding a lot more elements to the gameplay. So in terms of what I'd recommend, there are some videos you can check out. You have some how to plays. You can watch my video. It's a pretty good video. I had my friend Noah join me. My quote here is pretty accurate for what I felt. Operation Kraken highlights the tactical depth that hidden movement fans love, a true cat and mouse experience where each player feels like the hunter and the prey. I think that's actually, like, obviously I said it because that's what I sent it to him, but I really did feel it when I was playing the Germans. I was at times feeling I was hunting him, but when he starts doing things and you're like, God, where are you? Now you start feeling like you're completely lost. And I really felt like that way in the super carrier. I also thought this was funny, just extra stuff. Chris here, his originally said Game Brigade as well. So I sent Chris a message. I said, welcome to Game Brigade Studios. We'd love to have you on board. I thought that was pretty funny. But overall, my thoughts on this game, we'll switch over here to the shipping just so you can see the shipping and whatnot. Take a look at that whenever you're looking at shipping, taxes. Those things are things to be aware of. But let's go back to my head. Do I think Sniper Elite is the best hidden movement game? I think it's one of the best. It's probably tied up there for me with Mind MGMT. I think in terms of the 2 different ones that I like Mind MGMT's ability to constantly add modular abilities to the game based on who's winning more. So if the hunter is winning more, the sneaker gets more abilities. I like that. But now that Sniper Elite's offering more of those modular abilities to kind of do the same thing, adding in complexity here and there, but still keeping the core gameplay the same, really hits home for me. And I think this might be one of the easiest games to play with a minimal rule set, with a lot of tactical depth. I think it's a very, very strong game, and I highly recommend getting this one if you are a fan of hidden movement, if you're a fan of snipers, or if you're a fan of World War II. I think this is a winner in a lot of regards. So again, my name is Brian. If you really like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, support the channel. We have a giveaway going on right now where we're going to be giving away several games once we hit 10,000 subscribers. If you want to enter that giveaway, you're going to be entering a hashtag, and the question is, what is your favorite hidden movement game? Let me know in the question down below in the comments. I would love to see them, and I'll be answering any questions you guys have as well. Anyways, my name is Brian. I will talk to you very soon.